Alright guys, let's add materials to our scene. I'll first change the viewport shading. I'll first add a random material to this. So I'm going to divide our viewport. So I'm going to change this to, let me drag this back. I'm going to change this to shader editor. Let's auto smooth this. So I'm going to switch to material view. Then let's select our pear. Then add a material to this. Add new material. Let's name it to pear back. Then let's add a material to this. Ctrl T to add a material. When you press Ctrl T, if it's not working, you can go to edit, then go to preferences, go to add-on, turn on this node arrange, node presets, and node wrangler. You see mine is already on and ticked, so you can just tick them and go to save. Click here, save preferences to keep the changes. Then turn off this. Then I'm going to open this. I already have the materials. I downloaded them on the internet, so you can go and download yours. So you can check for pear. You can check for pear back textures, PNG pear back textures. So I'm going to change this to. I'm going to change to UV. Oops, that's for this. Tap into edit mode. See, we already have this here. So I'm going to unwrap. I'm going to unwrap, U to unwrap. So I'm going to rotate this, move it to the center. You see how it's showing? It's actually big. I don't like it. The details are quite missing. So I'm going to tap into edit mode. I'm going to scale this. I want it to be tiny. Very tiny. So it will have these small dots that pears usually have. So I'm going to take this back to shader editor. I'm going to turn off the specular. I'm going to turn this specular off. So that looks much better. We can see the details now much better. So I'm going to add another material for this. I'm going to go to material properties, add new material, then Ctrl T to add material. So I'm going to select this open, then go to my file. I already have this. I downloaded this on the internet, so you can download yours, add material, then change this back to UV. So I'm going to select this, tab into edit mode, press U and click on project from view. I'm going to select this A to select everything, G to place them. So I'm going to scale this in the X axis and scale this in the Y axis. I'm going to scale this again in the X axis and scale again in the Y axis. Then move this up a little bit So we're going to do this manually. Let's select this vertices and scale. Let's select these vertices. And scale. Then move this a little bit. Let's select this. Let's select this. And scale. Let's select these vertices and scale this, drag this up. Let's move this closer. Select this. G to drag up. Drag this up somewhere there. Let's bring this down. Then let's select this. Oops. G to bring this in a little bit. Let's select this and press G to bring this in a little bit. Same for this. Bring this in a little bit by pressing G. Bring G to, oops. Select this vertices. Then S in the scale in the X axis. Then G to bring this in. Then scale in the X axis. Bring this down. Then bring this in. Select everything. Scale in the X axis. G to bring this in. Then let's select everything. Bring this in. Oops. Let's unselect everything. Let's select everything. Scale this in the X axis. G to bring this in. So we're going to do this for the rest of them. We're going to manually place them in. So let's do the same for this. X to scale in and G to bring this SS to scale out a little bit. G to bring in. We're going to select this. Then press X and scale in the S axis. Oops. X and scale in the X axis. Then G to place this here. Then X to scale in the Y axis. Then S to scale in the Y axis. And G to move this a little bit out. Then G to bring this up. Press G to bring this up. G to bring this up. G to bring this out. G to bring this out. Need to bring this out. I don't want to have this black lines here. Need to bring this out. G to bring this out. Press G to bring this out. The same goes for this. Press G to bring this in. Yeah, somewhere there. In G to bring this here. Then G to bring this somewhere here. Let's do the same for here. Press G to move this a little bit. To make it blend. Press G to rotate this. So we're having this sharp edge here. That's because of this. So let's move this up. G to bring this in. We're having this face here. So just select everything. And G to bring this in a little bit. I think that makes sense. So we're going to switch back to our shader editor. Then turn off this specular. I don't want it to be shiny. Turn off this 0. That makes sense. So let's add materials to our windows. So I'm going to select this. Oops, let's name this to Pear House Front. Pear House Front. Let's rename this. I don't want it to be in caps. Pear House Front. And Pear House Front. So let's add materials to our windows. Remove this, select this, add a material. Let's change principal BSDF to emission and change the color to yellow. Change the color. And let's increase the strength to around 12. Bring the color down a little bit. Let's reduce the strength to 11. Let's change this to window emission. Window emission. Window. Let's change this to emission. So I'm going to select this and apply this to the same emission. I think that's not, I didn't spell that correctly. So I'm going to spell it well. Emission. So let's select our dough. Let's select our dough. Add materials to our dough frame. Our dough frame, okay. So our dough frame, Control T, add material. Then let's select, if you have a material, you can give it a normal color, you can give it a brown color. But I have a texture already, so I'm going to add the texture. So I'm going to add my material. Oops. Delete. So I'm going to add a material to this by pressing Shift Control T to add a material. I'll go to where my file is. Add my material. So I'm going to add, so I will add a color ramp to this. Shift A to add a color ramp. I'm going to change the color. I'm going to bring this up. So I'm going to change the color to, let's give it something like this. Let's change this to green a little bit. Let's change this to something like this. Okay. So let's select the dough. Let's name this to wood. Oops, wood texture. Let's name this to wood texture 2. Let's select our dough. Add a material by pressing Shift Control T. So I'm going to add the same material, the dough. See how it's looking already. So I'll go into Edit UV Editor. So I'll select the dough, tab into Edit mode. A to select everything. Then U to unwrap. So I'm going to unwrap I'm going to use Smart Project from View. I'm going to use Project from View. So I'm going to rotate A to select everything. How to rotate 90 degrees. So I'm going to scale this for this. Then tab into Edit mode. Then switch this to our shader editor. I'm going to Turn off the specular. I'm going to give this a color. So I'm going to add color. I'll just give it in any color. I'll just give it a brown color or something. Give it a brown color. So I'm going to select this, add another material to it, assign, add another material to it. So I'm going to make it metallic, reduce the roughness. So I'm going to select I'm going to select the windows. I'm thinking of giving it the same wood texture. Let's try that. Let's try that wood. Oops. Is that how it's looking? Let's name the door first. Let's name the door to door texture. Door wood. So let's assign the same material to this, the door wood. That looks much better. That looks much better. So let's assign the same material to this. And let's add materials to this. So I'm going to select this, add material, window, door wood. Oops. Then tap into edit mode. Press U to unwrap. Use Smart UV project. And there we have our window. Okay, let's apply the same material for this. Do the same here, apply the same material. So I'm going to select this. I'm going to select this and apply the same material. Then tap into edit mode. Let's turn this, let's convert this to mesh. Then tap into edit mode. Select everything. Go to UV editor. Then U to project from view. A and S to scale. Let's see how that looks. So I'm going to apply the same material for this. I'm going to convert this to mesh. Then tap into edit mode. Select everything and use Smart UV project. Use U project from view. project from view A and scale. And I'm going to tab into object mode, select this, then add the same material on it. So I'm going to do the same for our roof. Add the same material. So I'm going to tab into edit mode, go to top view, U, press U and project from view. Scale this up a little bit. Then G to arrange this. Then go back to object mode. That's looking better. Okay, let's do the same for this. Let's apply the same. Let's give it the same. Let's select this, tab into edit mode. Oops. Let's convert this to mesh. Then tab into edit mode, select everything. Then U to unwrap. Hold this A, G to move, and then scale. Scale in the X axis. Oops, I don't like that. So let's use go back to edit mode. Let's use Smart UV project. Oops. That looks much better. Okay. Now that we have added materials to our windows, let's do the same. So I'm going to add the same. I'm going to use our peer back, the same material for our peer back for our top roof. So I'm going to add the same material. I'm going to add the same material. I'm going to add the same material, the same wood material for this. That looks much better. And now tab into edit mode, select these faces. Then press U, select these faces. Then A, and move this here to, oops. Select these faces. Then G to move here, somewhere around there. So I'm going to unwrap this to let's use Smart UV projects. Then G to grab. I'm going to rotate this. Oops. Rotate 90 degrees. Oops. Then G. See, that looks much better. So let's add material to this. So just add material. Add a green leaf to this. Make it darker a little bit. And let's name this as leaf. Then let's do the same for here. Add another material. Brown, give it this brownish color. Then select this, add noise to this. nuance texture. Then place color on base color. Then add Shift E to add a color ramp. And place it in between. Then increase this to at least here. Yeah. Then change the color. Bring this to something here. Bring this down. Then let's change this to this color. Let's change this to this. Let's make this darker. And let's increase the scale and the details. Let's increase the scale. Change this color. I don't like it. And change this color. And let's make this darker. Move closer. Let's make this darker. Let's scale this. Then increase the roughness. Remove this specular. Alright guys, in our next video we're going to add an outside lamp to our scene. Hope to see you there, and don't forget to like and subscribe.